Good evening, listeners. Today is Tuesday, 16 Zulhijjah 1444 after Hijrah of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, which is 4th July 2023. I am Ummusalma Adam Iko with the news. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has assured the business community of his government commitment to policy consistency and better business climate to attract investment. The president spoke yesterday while receiving the delegation of the Shell Petroleum Development Company, led by the Global Upstream Director Ms. Zoe Yujnovic at the State House in Abuja. According to a statement by the presidential spokesman Dele Alake, the President Tinubu welcomed the company offer for more investment in the Nigerian oil and gas sector, adding that such investment are needed now more than ever to enable government to meet its obligations. He also assured that his government was removing all forms of bottlenecks in order to ensure Nigeria becomes an attractive investment destination. She said Nigeria remains a strategic investment country for the company, in view of the long history between the two entities and prospects held by the country's oil and gas sector. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has announced Senator Ofeyemi Bamidele of All Progressives Congress APC from Ekiti State as Majority Leader of the 10th Senate. Mr. Akpabio made the announcement today after the commencement of the proceedings from the Eid el-Kabir break. The Senate had adjourned sitting on June 14 for Eid el-Kabir. But today, Akpabio announced the new leaders of the minority caucus as Senator Simon Davu of PDP, Senator Eyewumi Olariri of PDP as Deputy Minority Leader, Senator Darlington Nkochaka of Labour Party as Minority Whip, and Rufai Hanga of NNPP from Kano State as Deputy Minority Whip. In another development, the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress APC, Abdullahi Adamu, has denounced the appointment of the party's principal officers announced by the Senate and the House of Representatives today. Mr. Adamu said the list of new principal officers announced by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the House Speaker Tajuddin Abbas did not emanate from the party's National Working Committee. Mr. Adamu, a former senator, stated this during a meeting with APC governors on Tuesday at the National Secretariat of the party. The chairman of the All Progressives Governors Forum, the umbrella body of all APC governors, Hope Ozodinma of Imo State, led the governors to the meeting. Sawaba reported that the Senate President and the Speaker announced the names of the new principal officers of their respective chambers at the resumption of plenary today. Opeyemi Bamidele emerged as senator leader, while Julius emerged as the leader in the House. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) today said it will prosecute 215 cases of electoral offences committed during the 2023 general election nationwide. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu stated this while addressing all the resident electoral commissioners at the commission's headquarters in Abuja. He added that the electoral body will work closely with the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA), which he said is willing to prosecute the cases free of charge. Analyzing the falls, Yakubu said the 2023 general elections were the most preferred for when compared to previously held elections. According to him, the February 25th presidential and National Assembly elections were held as scheduled. Professor Yakubu added time has come for retrospect to the conduct of the general elections. Since the conclusion of the elections, diverse opinions have been expressed. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has closed its defense against Labour Party and its presidential candidate Peter Obi in the petition challenging the February 25th presidential election. Counsel to INEC Abubakar Mahmood announced the conclusion of its case against Labour Party today after presenting the commission's sole witness. The witness, Deputy Director of Information Technology, Dr. Lawrence Bayode, testified that the commission failed to transmit the result of the presidential election due to technical glitches. He, however, maintained that the glitches did not affect the collation of the election results. The Ogun State chapter of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and its governorship candidate Ladi Adebutu has presented 8,000 documents as exhibit against victory of the Governor Dafo Abiodun, the All Progressives Congress (APC) candidate in the 18th March 2023 governorship election. Abiodun polled 276,298, while Adebutu scored 262,383 in the election. Adebutu is challenging the victory of Abiodun based on alleged non-compliance to the Electoral Act and alleged corrupt practices during the election. Counsel for Adebutu, Godi Uche, presented the document in the various Ghana must go backs before the tribunal, sitting at the Magistrate Court Ishabo, Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. However, in a swift reaction, Counsel for INEC Peter Olatumbora objected to Uche's prayers, arguing that the petitioners should have availed the respondent with the documents before presenting them before the court. Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State today lined off 60 vehicles to convey over 10,000 farmers to their ancestral farms in Dambuwa local government area of Borno. This is coming less than a week after Boko Haram insurgents perpetrated 2 different attacks in the council, where they killed 8 farmers in Wulari Bridge. 7 were slaughtered on their farms in Bulajimbam area. The governor, who inspected the road ahead of the farmers, made a stopover and dialogued with the military on how the conveyance process will be smooth. He also said the bosses would cushion the effect of fuel subsidy on the farmers. Zulum, who said he is aware of the hardship brought by the removal of fuel subsidy, urged the farmers to be patient and endure because good times are coming. The Kano State Fire Service said it saved 26 lives and property worth 70 million naira from 22 fire outbreaks recorded in June. This is contained in a statement by the Public Relations Officer of the service, Saminu Abdullahi, today in Kano. Abdullahi disclosed that 9 persons died, while property worth 6.7 million naira were destroyed by fire during the period. He said the service responded to 18 rescue calls and 4 false alarms from residents of the state. The spokesman advised general public to handle fire with care and continue to clear their drainage to avoid unforeseen circumstances. And now the news is coming to you from studio of Sawaba FM. One news after the short break. Do you stay?
This is news on the hour. Sawaba Radio FM. Stay tuned.
Thank you for staying tuned. This is Sawaba News at 7, coming to you from studio of Sawaba Radio 104.9 Hadejia. Governor Malam Umar Namadi has written to Jigawa State House of Assembly seeking the confirmation of 16 commissioners' nominees. This was contained in a statement signed by the Secretary to the Government of Jigawa State, Malam Bala Ibrahim. The nominees include Ibrahim Babangida Umar, Professor Hannat Sabo Muhammad, Dr. Muhammad Abdullahi Kainua, Aminu Kanta, Ahmad Garba MK, Ibrahim Garba Hannungiwa, Dr. Lawan Yunusa Danzomo, Dr. Isa Yusuf Chamo, and Sagir Musa Ahmad. Others include Hadiza Abdul Wahab, Colonel Muhammad Al-Hassan retired, Dr. Nura Ibrahim Danduka, Engineer Gambo Shuaibu Malam, Awad Aladi Sankara, Musa Adamu Aliyu, and his brother Muttaka Namadi. In the later, the Executive Governor Umar Namadi said the request for the confirmation of the nominees was in accordance with Section 192 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. No fewer than 61,200 children are suffering from malnutrition and other medical complications in the northwestern zone of Nigeria as a result of banditry and other insecurity activities in the region. This information was contained in a fresh statement issued, signed and made available to newsmen by the Medicine Sans Frontiers and Doctors Without Borders Field Communication Officer Mr. Abdul Karim Yakubu in Jigawa State. The statement highlighted that the malnutrition crisis is escalating in northwest Nigeria, prompting the International Medical Organization Medicine Sans Frontiers and Doctors Without Borders to reinforce its activities in the zone. Mr. Abdul Karim Yakubu further noted that the Medicines Sans Frontiers has opened 3 new outpatient therapeutic feeding centers in addition to the 10 inpatient centers and 32 outpatient centers that it already manages across Kaduna, Kebbi, Sokoto, and Zamfara states. Jigawa state government has called on Chinese public and private sectors to invest in the state to leverage on its vast resources and enabling environment which guarantee returns on investment. The deputy governor of the state, engineer Aminu Usman, made the call when he represented the state at the 3rd China-Africa Economic and Trade Expo held at Changsha, Republic of China. This was contained in a press statement signed by the Director of Press of the Deputy Governor, Comrade Ahmad Haruna, and made available to newsmen in Dutse. The statement revealed that Jigawa has equally indicated interest to partner with Chinese companies in developing the state infrastructures. He also noted that they have seen many simple and affordable farming tools that can help Jigawa farmers to improve their productivity. Now to today in history.
On this day in the year 1913, a scuffle broke out between police, mounted soldiers and a riotous crowd at the Johannesburg Market Square in South Africa. This was during the first miners' strike. The police were severely assaulted after strikers attacked them with stones. Likewise, on this day in the year 1979, Ahmad bin Bella, former president of Algeria, was released after 14 years in prison. Bella's government was overthrown by Houari Boumediene, his close friend, in 1965. He was placed under arrest for the next 14 years. Equally, on this day in the year 2001, the Congolese President Joseph Kabila and Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni meet for the first time face-to-face for a peace talks in Tanzania as part of an effort to end the 3-year war in Congo. Equally, on this day in 2001, the Congolese President Joseph Kabila and Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni met for the first time face-to-face for peace talks in Tanzania as part of an effort to end the 3-year war in Congo. Similarly, on this day in the year 2007, in Southern region, armed men kidnapped 5 foreigners the same day the most prominent militant group announced it will end a truce with the government. Likewise, in the year 2008, hundreds of soldiers who served as United Nations peacekeepers in Liberia went on rampage in Akure, protested against military authorities' refusal to pay their allowances. Also, on this day in 2014, delegates at the National Conference in Nigeria voted for rotation of presidency between the North and South and among the 6 geopolitical zones. The delegates, however, shut down a proposal for a single term of 6 years for the president. Khadija Lamin El-Leman, Sawaba Radio.
Thank you, Khadija Lamin El-Leman. The first flight of Nigerian pilgrims who performed this year's Hajj in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has left the country for Nigeria today. The first flight carrying 425 pilgrims from Sokoto State departed the King Abdulaziz International Airport, Jeddah, at about 2 o'clock Saudi time today afternoon. According to Engineer Goni Sanda, head of Aviation Committee of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, the return home journey would be strictly on the initial sequence of pilgrims' journey to the Holy Land to be fair in discharging the duty. He said every pilgrim's pardon, an official is expected to spend a minimum of 40 days to 43 days in the Holy Land before he or she will be airlifted back to Nigeria. Meanwhile, the leadership of NAHCON has resolved to ensure the pilgrims abide fully by its luggage policy during their return journey to Nigeria. And now to foreign scenes. Right group Amnesty International has accused security forces, separatists, and ethnic militia of committing rampant atrocities in the Cameroon's English-speaking heartland. Amnesty detailed rampant human rights violations and other crimes, including executions, torture, and rape in Northwest region. It says people have been caught in the crossfire as multiple fighters clash in the region, with individuals who speak out on the atrocities being threatened and arbitrarily detained. It said repeated requests for fact-finding mission had remained unanswered. Cameroon has been plagued by fighting since English-speaking separatists launched a rebellion in 2017. The conflict has claimed more than 6,000 lives and forced more than 1 million people to flee their homes, according to the conflict research body the International Crisis Group. Malaysia will no longer implement the death penalty for a number of serious offences as of today, Tuesday. The Abolition of Mandatory Death Penalty Act 2023 was gazetted on 30th June and signed by the Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Law and Institutional Reform, Azalina Uthman, said with the date of implementation set for 4th July. The offences include drug trafficking, murder, treason, and kidnapping, with judges previously having to apply the mandatory death penalty as punishment. With the new law, judges presiding over cases that call for the mandatory death sentence will now have the discretion of enforcing alternative penalties, such as a new alternative jail term of 30 to 40 years. Malaysia has enforced a moratorium on executions since 2018, but as legislation carrying the mandatory death penalty has remained effective, the court have been bound to continue sentences defendants to death despite no executions being carried out since 2017. Afghanistan Taliban government has ordered a shutdown of all women's beauty salons in the country. No justifications was provided for the decision. The licenses the salon required to operate will expire next month, according to the decree published by Afghan media. Beauty salons have been one of the few sources of income for Afghan women, some of whom are the main earners for their families. On taking power in August 2021, the Taliban pledged to respect women rights, since the women have been pushed out of most professional employment. Universities and secondary schools have also closed their doors to women and girls. Taliban decrees are not always fully implemented, and many Kabul women continue to appear in public with their faces uncovered. Also, a number of private schools continue to offer education to girls beyond primary level. And we wrap up the news with this and a recap of the major stories. In the news, INEC to prosecute 215 cases of electoral offences committed during the 2023 general elections. Governor Umar Namadi sent 16 commissioners nominees for screening and confirmation. Over 61,000 children suffering from malnutrition. Malaysia stops death penalty for serious offenders. On behalf of the news department, our editor Muhammad Suleiman Yobe, our sub-editor Amina Ibrahim Shahada, I am Ummusalma Adam Iko. Have a great night.